Hey guys, thanks for joining me. And if you like what you see, please subscribe.
Hello, peoples. Welcome to Sharp Ends. So there was an all tag put out, which is kind of like anyone who's on YouTube and wants to participate can do this kind of thing. And it was 3 knives, 7 days. And the 3 knives, one has to be a fixed blade, one has to be a locking knife, and one has to be a slip joint. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And I was thinking about like if I had to go out into the woods and I had to be in a not even a survival situation, just a camping situation. Like, well, what would those 3 knives be? Now, the fixed blade would have to be something where I could process wood, I can make a fire, and I could strike a fire steel. Those are the things. So automatically, I'm thinking either that is going to be a Bark River, like a Bravo, which is the classic knife for this kind of situation, right? Or maybe it would be something like the Genesis, right? The LT Rate Genesis, which has a super sharp spine, and this one's a Scandi grind. This thing can make a fire like no one's business, right? In the end, I went with a GNS 3, which is an LT Right knife. It does have a spine that's very sharp that can start a fire. It's not a Scandi grind, it's a saber, a high saber grind. And this will also process wood, maybe not as well as the Genesis, but it also can do some other things. With a saber grind, it's also good at processing meat. It's also good at just being an all-around knife than a Scandi grind. And I just like the way that this feels in the hand. It completely locks in with this back nub back here, and it just feels really good in the hand. So this is the fixed blade that I would go with. And I, yeah, I just think that this is a great knife, and this is the fixed blade that I would go with. Next, so what's the purpose of taking a slip joint with you? Well, a smaller knife. I would think that if you were going out for 7 days, you'd want one knife that was super thin behind the edge, something that is just going to make perhaps the perfect small kindling feather stick type thing, something that is also going to help you skin something that is going to be totally waterproof that you don't mind taking out with you. So in the end, what I went with was the Tactile Turn Bear, and this thing is a magnet cut. It is super, super thin behind the edge. Like, just compare these two, right? Like, this is like 3/16 or something crazy. Super, super sharp. And just, like this thing is the thing. This is basically a scalpel. So having something this small is definitely going to help me on that kind of trip. Um, and I would definitely want this as my slip joint. Um, and then next, what am I going to take for my locking knife? And this was perhaps the hardest question that I had because I've got so many freaking locking knives. Uh, so I thought, if you're going out into the woods and possibly the rain for a long time, it has to be waterproof. So first thing I thought. I want it to be locking in such a way that it can take some abuse. So I was thinking about the different lock types, and I was thinking either a shark lock, which basically means Demco, or a frame lock, which could mean a lot of different things. And I want it to be utilitarian. I want it to be something that I could use all around the campsite. Something I could cook with, something that I could cut with, something I could feather stick with, all those kinds of things. You know what I ended up going with? And I hope this isn't boring to you, but I ended up going with the Spidey Chef. You know, as much as you might think that's ridiculous given all the freaking knives I own, this knife definitely can cook, and the action on it is incredible, and the locking mechanism is awesome. It's totally utilitarian. It's obviously a Spyderco. LC200N is a great steel, never gonna rust. This titanium is awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't think of a better 3 knives out of everything in my collection that would do as well as this. Now, obviously, this is O2 steel, so not very rust proof, but I don't need to be rust proof. I just need to make it fire. These two are rust proof or rust resistant. Nothing's really rust proof, but definitely rust resistant. Um, and they're going to be with me down at the water, right? So these are my three knives for 7 days in the woods. What do you guys think? What three knives would you take out for 7 days? It's an interesting question. So I would love to hear your answer. Please let me know. And if you have a video that you've made off of this tag, please tag me or let me know that you've made a video so that I can respond or see what you did. I'd love to see what you guys have in the community. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. That always really helps me out. Also, if you enjoyed this content and you want to help support me, follow the link down below for my becoming a Patreon member. $3 a month gets you a chance to win a knife. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll catch you next time on Sharp Ends. Bye-bye now.